Hey, welcome to the Crippled Handyman. This is Eddie, your host. Um, I've been seeing a lot of videos talking about retirement and how much do we need to have so we can retire comfortably. And I think there's a big panic going on because there's this talk that Social Security is going to go away. You know, as long as people are still paying into paying their taxes, it will still survive. The government has till what 2034 to figure this out. So there's still a lot of time. You keep paying your payroll taxes and the social security checks will keep coming. The younger generation, they got to go to work, they got to pay payroll taxes. So basically how it works is the whole time I worked and everyone else besides me who's still working, you're paying the people who are in on social security, you're paying their checks right now. So when you get ready to retire, say you retire at 62, you're going to get penalized. You won't be bringing home as much, which is okay if you have any 401ks or any savings. Um, I mean, it comes down to as long as people 10 years younger than you, they're still working and paying into the payroll taxes, the Social Security, I feel, I don't think it's going to go away. I think they'll figure it out. It's no different than they talk about when they um, have to figure out their new GDP and their spending bill, and they're to talk about the government's got to shut down and this and that. They always figure it out. They always get through it. Is it just a hype scare, to give everyone something to talk about? It's the same old story year in and year out with Congress and the government. But for retirement, there's like what 75 million people on retirement and Social Security. Well, I should say disability benefits. So Social Security and disability benefits. There's like 75 million Americans on this collecting. So they have to figure this out, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not going to go and, I guess everyone got all freaked out. Remember 1999, the millennial years? Everything's going to crash. Everything's going to shut down. And it's going to be like the end of everything with this computer stuff. Well, never happened. I think it was just more or less get people to the store, spend money, and make the rich richer. That's all this stuff is. I think to make the rich richer. But do you think 75 million people are gonna be just like left in limbo and fend for themselves when they had already worked for their social security and they're living off of that, and say they've been already collecting social security, say they collected at 67, or well, in those days it would have been 65, and say they're 80. So say they've been collecting for the last 15 years, and then just to say it's just going to go away. Congress will figure it out. You have to have confidence. You have to have faith. Don't give up. So will Social Security run out watching these videos and all that? And I don't know. I'm going to be optimistic about it and hope for the best, because I know, when my wife is ready to retire, they're talking that um, it's going to be, what is it? I think it's going to be reduced to 78% by 2034 for the future retirees. I collect disability, and my numbers are pretty outstanding, and I just still, grateful that I had, made a lot of money. For what I did for a living, I made a lot of money. I was a union sheet metal worker. I was a non-union sheet metal worker my first 15 years. In my last 15 years, I was a union sheet metal worker. Thanks, Pops. His business went non-union. Well, he went non-union. It was union. I'm getting sidetracked. We talked about that in the last video. So I don't think Social Security is going to run out, and that's my personal feeling on it. But if it does, I'm telling you, by that time, say 10 years from now, they're going to be 85 million people probably on Social Security. How many more millions are going to be on Social Security in 10 more years? I don't know. I don't have the math and to think about that right now. Because if you really think about it, I mean, shit already right now. I mean, I've seen these videos through other YouTubers where I'm going to talk about your channel, Jack Morgan, RLP, where there's a gal. She was 41 years old, and she has no retirement savings. And what are you doing? What do you are you spending all your money? Or my biggest question, I got probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 videos I like recorded when I'm driving around doing my thing, and I haven't. I guess I really would probably have to edit them because such a degree, or I'm just going to offend so many people. I want to know, what are you doing for a career? If you get out of high school and you get a job, whether it's like a retail job or you're a restaurant job. I'm talking like if you're, a server or so forth like that. And I still see people as a server, in their 50s and 60s. And if that's like a second income to help out the household, okay, that's cool. I could see that. But if that's going to be your main line of work, I mean, are you putting money away? How are you saving for your future retirement? I guess that's what I would like to know. Here's a cool fact. How many people have $3 million in their savings? And I'm talking like 401ks, all their different, um, whether it's whatever their portfolio is, whether it's in property or whatnot. It's like, what is it? It's like 1.8 million people. There's like 330 million people in America. 330 million. So only 1.8 million people, 1,821,000 people, if you want to get a little bit more technical, have 3 million in their savings of some sort, in some sort of like, what do you want to call it? Anything that they, whether it's retirement accounts, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. That's not a lot. And they say uh, the average savings that retirement people have when they get ready to retire is $334,000. I don't even know what that percentage is of people that have even that much. I'm kind of doing some um, post notes and all that. I don't even know how that's, how they even come up with that number. It doesn't even talk about like a statistic or how many, the percentage of people that have like $334,000. I'm guessing possibly most of those people, their homes are paid for. Now, when they talk about there's this one gal, what she said, you need $30 million like for the millennials by the time you get ready to retire. I mean, what are you thinking things are going to cost in 35 years from now? That's a scary thought. I'm glad I'm 55 and hopefully maybe I have 25 years left on this earth. Maybe I'll live to 80 if I'm lucky. So that's 25 more years. So I'll just talk about, like, for my wife and I, this is our plan. This is what we're doing. We kind of got a late start. Divorces suck, and having bad back surgery suck. losing one full income sucks, where you're putting money into your retirement, your 401 and all that stuff. I was doing all that stuff when I was working in the union. So our plan is what we have to do, and in order for it to work for us, um, we don't have our home has to be paid off. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. Our home must be paid off. So by 2033, this home will be paid off. Um, that that has to happen, and I just hope to heck that everything goes good, and no more bullshit things happening in our life. Um, so with that being that, yeah, there's a huge net value of our property. It'll be seven figures. I don't know by then what 1.4, 1.5 net worth of the property. But here's the key part: our taxes are only $2,000. When the house was built in 1977, I can only go. I can only see the tax bill back 10 years ago. So back 10 years ago, it was like $1,200. So taxes have gone up $800 over the last 10 years. So if say that cycle happens in 10 more years, our tax bill maybe be $3,000. Okay, which still is nothing. Um, so we'll have no mortgage, and we could probably, well, realistically, you don't have to have homeowners insurance if you own your house outright. I mean, it'd be probably stupid if something happened, if a fire in case, you're out of all that money. I knew a guy, he had a house up in the mountains somewhere in Colorado. I forget what city. And they didn't have any insurance on it. They owned it outright. And that there's a fire that went through the hills. And yeah, no insurance. The house burnt down to the ground. Terrible, terrible. So it's a loss. Okay, so say our taxes go up to $3,000 a year. Okay, um, that's $250 a month for taxes. Say our homeowners insurance goes up to $3,000. I think it's really reasonable. It's like $2,300 a year for our homeowners insurance. Covers the dwelling, property belonging, all that stuff. So say that was $3,000. So I'm gonna add another $250. That's $500. Okay. Um, car insurance. Well, we're making too big. We're paying like when the payment comes, like it was like what our car insurance went down $200 because I did some wheeling and dealing and negotiating. I'm gonna just pay the lump sum versus doing monthly payments. So say that's 2,400, just for shits and giggles. Say that's 2,400. That's $200 a month plus 200. So just for my dwelling, the roof over my head, that's not counting electric, gas, and all that stuff. Our average, our average water bill, because water and sewer, say that's, I'm going to say 160. I know it's pretty high. Say 100 for gas, that's high. Say 100 for electric, I know that's high. Internet's actually more than freaking electric and gas. It's freaking insane. By then we're going to have to figure out something. Maybe some other deal is going to come out. And I'm going to talk about what we're going to need monthly for our retirement. Then we're going to figure out how much we need a year, and go from there. So I got all the utilities and all that stuff. So with all the utilities and gas and the insurance and all the house, we're at 1,060. That's why I think it's so important to own. And when I mean own, you own your house. You don't have a mortgage. You could bust your butt to pay that mortgage down. I know things are expensive. Find a neighborhood. Be an hour away from work. Drive to work. F it. Get a house and own it. So you're not a lender. You're not a slave to the lender. I mean, that's all we are. If you owe people some money. And then food. I'm just gonna go crazy. I'm gonna say $1,000 by then. right? So that's 2,000. I already told my wife. I said, well, we're not going to have any life insurance policies, because by then we should have $500,000, $1 million in. I mean, it's got to get all invested. So we'll have money in the bank, you know, more more than enough if someone croaks, her or me, whoever goes first, there'll be money in the bank. So we don't need that. Um, car insurance, we'll probably have car insurance, and I already did that, didn't I? Yeah, I already figured that out. But I'm not even $2,100 with this stuff. So I think comfortably, I'm gonna go wild. I think comfortably we could live off of 3,500 a month. That's times 12. That's $42,000 a year. My retirement is more than that right now. Right now, you know, um, that's not counting when my wife retires. And so I don't know what this big scare is, because it's like, okay, if half my money, I don't think Social Security is going to go away, folks. I've been hearing this literally, no shit. I've heard this when I was like 18 years old, 20 years old. They're like, oh, this going to be around for 20 more years, if that. And say I was 20, so okay, now that would have been 40. Now I'm 55 now. They'll figure it out. They have to. We're we're the greatest. We're an awesome country. Yeah, we have a lot of flaws going on right now. I'm not happy about those, but we could literally live off of 42,000, say 40,000 a year, with everything that we got, and because anything that she brings in a month, that would just go into the savings. So we're say it's equal. Say we're both bringing in 50 and she's bringing in 50. We don't even need 50. So we're actually going to be saving like 60,000 every single month. So what is this this scare going on? So for you younger folks, I don't know. I don't know. Get a good paying job that has retirement plans. Get in the construction world. I don't know what else to say. I mean, if so, basically if we have a net worth of $2-3 million in, well, it'd be 15 years. That's totally doable for us. And if we're only going to need 40,000 of it, so say we had $1 million, right? And the thing is, the other half of what my wife brings in for retirement, there should be no issues for us. And I guess that's all. Okay, we're not part of the 78% Americans. And then like when people are ready for retirement, how many people have 3 million in savings? We may or may not have that. Be close. Will she get hit? She just misses that. If she got Social Security at 62, we'll see. These are just talks. The government's just talking. Like maybe in 10 years, Social Security would go away. It doesn't actually affect me at all. Won't whoever's on Social Security still or whatever, collecting it right now and even up to 2034, doesn't even affect you. Doesn't affect us. It only affects the people after that, they're saying, where they would only receive 78% of it versus the 100% of it. They may raise it to 70 age 70 for retirement. I don't know. This could get really really scary. And here's the funny thing is literally like 10 years ago, we never thought like, oh yeah, we'll never own again, because we've both been through literally hell and back financially with exes and losing everything. And when I say losing everything, I didn't even have a credit card to use. I was barely able to put gas in my car. I had to borrow money every week to put gas in my car before I got my next paycheck. And that's going back to like 2008, 2009. That's 16 years ago, but shit, 16, 15 years ago. So all I remember saying is like, once I get out of this hellhole, and if you're there, I was there, you figure it out and you get the hell out of there. I wasn't looking for love and all that stuff. I met my wife. I was like, gosh dang it, looking up. So the guy's like, yeah, here it is. Here's your soulmate. This is the woman you're gonna die with, you know? And so if you're trying to do all this stuff as a single person, you're screwed. Unless you're making shitload of money. Life wasn't meant to be solo. Obviously, we get older, and yes, either my wife's going to die or I'm going to die first. That's natural. Yeah, we both have like, in order to get to our goals where we need to, we got 10 years to do it. And regardless, by 71, my term life insurance will be done by then. So we plan on having double more than that, and her term, her policy ends as well. And it doesn't end; it just the rate keeps going up at certain ages. But by the time the house is paid off, that's why we have to pay off this house, because something happened to her. I personally would not. Well, if she still had her insurance, yeah, I would be able to pay the house off with the life insurance policy, and then almost vice versa. I have a little bit less. I have a $250,000 policy for her. That's another thing, for retirement, and you know, um, if you don't need certain bills or certain debts, get rid of them so you can retire comfortably. So I don't want to just retire. I want to still travel and do all that stuff. And we're actually starting that now. We got a trip in June. We have a trip in October. Next year we're planning another trip. Every year I want to go somewhere. Period. Just we're doing it. And we have the finances to do it. We're not charging anything. We're not going to like go on a trip and be like, okay, now we got 5 months to pay that off. We pay as we go. So we're fortunate that way. But this retirement deal, guys, we got to, don't fear about the Social Security. I know all these videos, I'm like, come on, and then I started doing some other research, and it's like, there's 75 million people on Social Security. It can't end. It literally can't end. It's kind of like saying, oh, by 2034, there's going to be no more electric. Well, they got to figure that shit out, because there's, 330 million people with electric. You got to figure that out. These people are making millions, sitting up there in Congress. Figure it out. That's what they're being paid for by us taxpayers. And I still pay taxes off of my shit. Yeah. Even though I'm not working, I still pay taxes. Which is a crock of shit. On my SSDI, I pay taxes. On my pensions, I pay taxes. That's effed up, guys. Effed up. Well, hopefully, maybe this, I don't know if this puts you at ease, puts you at fear. I don't know. How much are you going to need when you get ready to retire? It comes down to what your overhead is. That's really that's the bottom line. Our overhead should be like $2,200. That's it. And if we want to go buy a fancy car, the goal is to pay cash. That's the goal. If we end up with a car payment, well, the goal is to be under $500. Sad to have a payment like that, but that's going to be the goal if that happened. And because that's going to be another video. I'm going to talk about that. What you can do, what you don't do. So much going on up here. Hey, thanks for watching, guys, and happy retirement. Hope things are going well. Hopefully you have your investments. Hopefully you have your home paid for. And that's the ultimate goal. By owning a home, you'll be able to pay it off, and you can retire, and you're not going to be paying some landlord money every freaking month, which is not the way to go. If you could own, that's the way to go. and then you pay it off, and stay out. Like I said, stay out of HOAs. My mouth will keep going. I could go on another 20 minutes easy right now, but I got to end this video. So other than that, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.